Almost looks like a nail. Oh, some sort of metal. Weird. But soft enough to cut clean through those first couple layers. Basically cut these into curves, so it's got to come all the way down through our other line. I'm just going to do it through the last 2 inches of the handle, then I'll leave a good 4 inch right in the middle. Good place to get your grip. So we're going to take our marking tool, all right, extend our depth line over to there. Use this guy again, make sure our line still matches up. Not bad. Same on this side. I'm not having good luck with this thing, am I? So we can kind of barely see our initial layout over here. It was 2 inches deep. Each of these segments is 2 inches. I'm going to cut it so that it's roughly smooth right through there. Standard 10-inch dinner plate, nothing fancy. What we're going to do is to trace a line between those 2 points. So we'll get it as close to on there as we can, not slip while I do it. It usually helps. That's a little knot right there, we'll have to work. I'm going to carry it through right up there to the top. And so that is going to come out. Do the same thing on the other side of the handle. Connect those 2 points. Draw our fade right through there. Now I've got no idea if because this narrows down so much it's going to matter or not. Find out. Question for someone much more experienced than me. So line it up to the middle, your corner right over here. And then we'll use that to draw our line. Make that guy a little bit darker. And then right there, we've still got that enough to deal with. That may even not come out. May just leave that. So remember, everything above that's got to come off. Got plenty of room to go before we need to really start worrying about that knot. That one doesn't go down through the line, so we'll probably keep rasping that one out. Same on the other side. Don't be too careful here, right? Down about right there. A little bit of that, sorry. That's not being careful. This guy's starting to creep out on that one side, so I think I'm really be careful around that one. I like it. We do it right. Like I said, I don't think we're going to get too much red in the back of this. I hope we do, but just kind of looking at the profile, I think it's going to be pretty rare anywhere that's not the handle. If we don't have any, we won't worry too much about a finish to the bow, I imagine, but if we get some of that red in there, it might be nice to choose one that really makes it contrast. But we got a long way to go before there, so we're going to finish the damn thing. And back it. And as of now, at the start of October, I don't need to have anything to back it with, so. Okay, we're close. Both sides. Average. too. I said we weren't gonna find this tonight, so I'll get some more of it. So we're getting fairly close. Let's see if I can catch this. You can see it actually starting to bend a little bit. Gotta take a bunch out probably on the back side of that limb. And of course finish out the handle. We started one side but still got a lot to go on the other one. Let's do a little bit more back down. Drew noticed some lines on there. So, looking like a bow. Alright, so we got the bow mostly roughed out. It's the first time putting it up on the brace, tillering tree, whatever you want to call it. And we finally got it to the point where it bend a little bit. So we're going to work the limb a little bit. I'll turn the scale on and see how much it draws. Now the goal is when it's strung up with the reel string, it should have about 6 inches. That's what they call brace height, the distance between the furthest point on the bowstring and a point in the handle. I don't know if that's the apex of the handle or the front. I should probably figure that out for you. It'll teach you much further, but we still got a long way to go before it really starts to matter. Let's see what we're drawing at. You probably can't see how much it reads, but you get the idea. Right there's about 15, 4 inches to get it. 15. Now the goal is once it's braced, we want to be able to draw back to my height, probably about 27, 28 inches. And if we do it right, we'll get it somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's say 35 to 45 pounds. I'm not going to pull it that far back right now, but as you can see, it starts to get to the point where it increases exponentially. So the other bow I shoot is 35. We're not going to pull it quite that far yet. But that's 35 pounds at I think 28 inches, so we got a long way to go. So what we're doing here though, is looking for the bend, trying to make sure that it's bending evenly on both sides, left and right. And we're going to slowly take off wood in the parts that seem a little stiff. And it's a little hard to really tell the stiff parts when I'm still working it. So let's go ahead and brace it to, let's say 17 inches. And then we'll mark it out. Always know we're in the middle. And right now, this could be the top, that could be the top. We'll figure that out as we go. Typically you want the top limb a little bit longer, like 1/4 of an inch, nothing much at all. But now that we've got it set, we'll go ahead and mark off the areas that look a little stiff, and we're going to focus on there to remove wood. Leave it in the areas that are bending more. So it's a little hard to tell from here. I'll square this up for us. Oops. Yeah, we can right away see a couple stiff spots in here. Thicker here, but there's none on the back side, so I want to leave more wood there for now. Don't look too bad right now, but we want to keep those knot areas built up a little bit since they're a little bit weaker than the areas around it. The left side really doesn't look too bad right now. Well, on the outside again. Off there, a little bit off the handle. Again, there's a knot. Right there we want to avoid. Alright, now's the tedious part. Take it off, scrape off the wood, put the string back on it, brace it, work it a few times, measure it again, and then we'll keep doing that until we get it further and further down. Roughly the same draw weight throughout. So you can see on here we got our marks for where we want to take off wood. It's that first knot I pulled out. Ugly one. I thought we had another mark. Maybe some of the other leg we got 2 marks on it, but what we're gonna do is focus on just that area. Give kind of a couple scrapes during the whole length of it just to keep it even, but we're gonna focus most of our efforts here. And as you start to take off that first layer, you can see right away those lines disappear. Be real careful when we come to the knot here. And eventually we'll take this back off and probably shear it the whole way. flip and do the inside. Again, we're going to focus on the pencil area first. We'll still give a couple passes all the way through. Just other marks are right here. And again, we want to be careful near the string. Alright, so we're going to put it back up, measure it again. And it's probably not enough time to make any difference, but later on it'll start to be magnified each time we start to take off just a little bit of wood. But not expecting to be able to see much now. I think when we got to 16, I don't remember how much it was. I think we took it down to 25. It's as heavy as I drew it last time. Let's call that 27 and 18 inches. Work it a few times. Every time you take it on and off and take off some wood, you want to work it a few times. Maybe a dozen or so. Last time I did one of these bows, completely shit the bed on the handle and made it way too narrow depth-wise. And so see here, it's built up thicker in the middle. I'm stopping the handle from bending at all. The last one, I bent it through the handle and it was marginally thicker than the limbs themselves. I think the limbs ended up being maybe 3/8 of an inch and the middle was barely more than that, maybe a 16th wider. So I was doomed from the start, but got a little bit more experience with it this time. I think this one might actually be a success by the time we're done. Again, low goal, just pull a shooting arrow in front of you. I don't care how much it weighs. Got a goal, but we just get it to work and all. We'll call that a success for this one. Right, so just like we did before, we're going to brace it down to, let's see if we can get to 17 this time. That's just one of these knots slipping a little bit. That's the one there on the right, trying to get you guess. But we're going to mark off again where it looks a little stiff. It may be the same places, may be different. From there. It's a little sticky there, watch out for that line. It's on the other side. Still stiff here again, it's not right there, so careful. Just the other side. And then right now we'll just take it off away from the knots. Well, unfortunately the mark is right there on that knot, so let's now just give it time to start working on it. And focus on the area at hand. And then scrape it to you. Here's a mark there, see, so let's get it. Scrape it to you, the rest of it also. Not out of the way. Alright, and as expected, the other mark's right there next to that knot, so same deal. Focus on the knot, smooth out the rest.
goes in there decently. It doesn't come through the outside, so still feeling pretty good about that one. This one I think we're just going to end up I'm going to go fairly deep into it, based on how much wood I know we still got to take off. Start to shake back that a little bit more. There we go. Got marks here and up here. And the parts on whatever one listens up here in the same spot, right around that notch. Actually, kind of uncovered that one late, one visible when we started. So I've got our wood off, back up on the wall. Helps if you try to put that loop around it. But it's usually obvious pretty quick. It's the one I got as far as the time before. Let's give that another whirl. So here's our 18. Took out maybe, let's say half a pound, maybe a pound, maybe a pound. So some progress. But again, long way to go. We'll keep working it about a dozen times. And we'll mark it out, figure out where to take it off. So the left side's bending maybe a little bit more on the right. That right one's still really stiff. So on the outer half, out a third. We don't want to pull it heavier than the end weight is going to be. So we could probably drop to 40 pounds now, but no reason to. No reason to yet. Let's get it a little bit more though. That's 30. That's plenty. Alright, so I cheated this time. I didn't bring it straight back. This is the second time. It's been back up here since I stopped recording. Let's take a look. Got it up to 30 pounds on the last one. And we're maybe a pound under where we were last time. So that puts us at 30 pounds. And let's call it 20.5 inches. So you can see we're definitely making progress. But as you can guess, we still got a long way to go. As always, we'll exercise the wood a few times. And we don't want to let it go all the way up, or that's basically just like dry firing it. Just stresses the limbs out too much. With that tillering string on there instead of a real bowstring though, probably wouldn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but still not a good idea to do it. There's no reason not to. Save that for if an accident happens. Alright, so that's 28 pounds, we'll drop down to 19 and then mark where to keep going. And again, remember I said I probably have to do this a couple dozen times. This is the 6th, maybe 7th. I'm not even gonna say it's a quarter of the way done yet. So same as before, right side's gonna come off a little bit more. Same spaces. I think this time I may not even smooth out the rest of the dough. I think I may just take it out of those. This side's looking a little better. Starting to smooth out some there. I'm gonna take some here from the last third. Maybe the inner third. Yeah, I'm just keep moving that thicker.